everyone, so today's video isn't the happiest way to start the year, but it is something that I felt was very important to talk about. You guys know me, I'm not normally one for kind of jumping on trending topics and bandwagons and stuff unless I feel I have something different or unique that I can add to the conversation. But today I woke up and I saw this story, and it's one that I felt affected me pretty emotionally. It's one that I personally feel very strongly about. It's something that I think is very important to talk about, and I think amongst other things it opens up some very important conversations. Now, I'm not normally one for YouTube drama, but this is something that's been picked up by like national news and a lot of people are talking about it, and it's a pretty horrific thing. Massive YouTuber with like 50 million subscribers, Logan Paul, visited Japan's suicide forest and found a dead body, and he vlogged it. And that's not really what I have an issue with. What I have an issue with is how he vlogged it and how disrespectful it was to that person and their family and their friends. I feel like he went into it thinking, oh, this is gonna get me views. I think he went into editing and posting that video, or hiring someone to do it for him. I think he went into it thinking that this is going to get me views, this is going to get people watching. I don't think he went in thinking, hey, this is going to start a really important conversation about mental health. I don't personally judge him for wanting to talk about his experience, but I do judge him for showing the dead body in a video. I do judge him for sliding it in the middle of a 15-minute vlog surrounded by inappropriate jokes and humour and just him being Logan Paul. I do judge him for how disrespectful the video was. I do judge him for how he sensationalized suicide. I don't want to show the original video, although there are re-uploads out there on YouTube. I don't want to show it because honestly it got me very emotional, and it's difficult to watch, but I do kind of want to talk you through what's in it. So for a little bit of context, and I'm terrible with pronunciation, the vlogger Logan Paul decided to visit this forest in Japan. It's also known as the Sea of Trees, but it's also become known as Suicide Forest. It's situated on the base of Mount Fuji, and it's this huge forest. There's a lot of kind of like mythology and folklore around it. There are stories about it being haunted by a certain ghost that's part of Japanese mythology and stuff like that. But more recently, it's become internationally known as one of the most popular suicide spots in the world, to the point where when you walk down the footpaths and things like that, there are suicide prevention signs, there are suicide prevention hotline numbers, there's sort of posters and signs telling you to call people to get help, to, like, you know, encouraging people not to kill themselves, to be honest. So yeah, it's a pretty intense place. I've not been there myself, I've not been to Japan, but honestly I don't have a problem with people filming vlogs there or wanting to talk about it in videos in general, because I think, you know, it does open up a very important conversation about suicide, about mental health. And yeah, I think that's very, very important. The issue that I have is that the video opens with Logan Paul giving this little speech on a street corner about how this is a graphic video and how he doesn't think this has ever been done on YouTube before. And then he warns the viewer to buckle up, because, you know, this is going to be an exciting ride. And yeah, that just seems pretty disrespectful to me. I mean, okay, I don't think he uses the word exciting ride, but he does use the word buckle up, and it's just the connotations. So then it goes into the vlog itself, and it opens with scenes of him and his friends in a car, and they're making stupid jokes, and, you know, on its own this wouldn't be that bad. You know, nothing had gone wrong for them at this point, so I have no issues with the fact that they were doing that. They were making puns and jokes and silly things and just being loud and crazy and, you know, just being who they are on their vlogs. I just don't think it was appropriate to include that footage after what happened. Or rather, I don't think it was appropriate to include that footage alongside what they show later. So then they get to the forest and they talk slightly about the history, but not really in much detail or things like that. It's just very brief, lots of loud, obnoxious jokes again, which is their style, you know, that's fine. And then they go in the forest and they're making stupid jokes and they're talking about things, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, dude, is that a body hanging from a tree? And like, that is literally the kind of voice they use, and the things they say, and it's just, it sounds like one of their stupid pranks, and you don't believe it at first, and you think they're just like winding you up. And that's why, you know, it's okay that they're kind of behaving like that and they're being stupid. Except it turns out that there is a body hanging from a tree. There is a person who has committed suicide, and they make inappropriate jokes around it. They act crazy. They film it. They do blur out his face, but they show his coat. They show his hands. They show him hanging from a tree, and it's horrific. It's so difficult to watch. Then they spend like 20 seconds saying, oh yeah, if you're feeling down, if you're having trouble, the Logan is always here for you. And then that's it. Then they go back to making stupid jokes. Then they go back to saying, oh dude, I can't believe this happened to us. Oh my god, can you believe it? Oh dude. And then they go out into the car park and they're making jokes about the like emergency response teams, and like, oh, he's been here before. And that was the point when I turned the video off because I didn't want to see anymore. I think they went about this in completely the wrong way. And I think, honestly, their responses to finding the body is kind of understandable because they were in shock, right? They'd never seen anything like this before. They didn't expect to see something like this. Acting in shock, making stupid jokes, it's kind of understandable because they're young people and they're in shock, and that's their way of dealing with it. The inappropriate thing was to include it in the video because that is so disrespectful to that man. I think the main issue I have is that throughout this video they talk about finding a dead body, they find about finding a hanging body, and it's a body to them. They don't think about the man. They don't think about why he did that. They don't think about how he must have been feeling to want to end his life like that. They don't think about his family, his friends, his colleagues, his pets. They don't think about how much he must have been hurting. They don't think about how much he was suffering to get to that point. They don't think about the fact that he probably did have some great things in his life and he probably had some happy moments. They don't think about the fact that he probably had a job, he probably had a house, maybe he had pets, maybe he had a favourite book, maybe he had a favourite TV series. They don't think about, you know, where he went to school. They don't think about him as a person, and they don't think about him as a person who's ended his life. I don't think they take it seriously, and I don't think they realised the weight of this situation because they just thought we found a dead body and this is views. At least that's the impression I got, and it was disgusting. And it was horrible, and yeah, finding a dead body at all, that's not their fault. They couldn't have known. The whole video was done in the wrong way. If they wanted to include that story in a video, I'd have cut out all the junk at the beginning, cut out all the junk at the end, and just had a video of him talking about the experience, talking about how it made him feel, kind of creating a sort of memory or a legacy for that man, talking about how important mental health support is, talking about, you know, the options for suicide prevention and for people suffering, and talking about options for medication and counselling and things. That's what I would have done if that was him. And instead he just sensationalized this individual's struggle and his hurting. He turned it into this attempt at almost like clickbait. He attempted to turn it into this viral video, and let's be honest, it's gone viral, but in completely the wrong way. It's backfired on him, and he deserves it. Mental health, depression, anxiety, self-harm, all, like, even as far as, like, eating disorders and so on, and other mental health issues, they're very, very kind of, like, important to me. And it's something that I do want to maybe talk about on my channel in the future. I just don't think I'm at that point yet. And I think it's important that we do talk about them and that people understand that there is help out there. One of the biggest issues I have with certain websites like Tumblr is that they glamorize destructive behaviour, they glamorize eating disorders, they glamorize self-harm, they glamorize depression, anxiety, they make it seem like it's something that only the special kids have. They make it seem like it's not that bad, it's just, you know, something that makes you cool and unique. And I kind of worry that it's not quite what the Logan Paul video is doing, but it's similar. The Logan Paul video isn't glamorizing suicide, but it's definitely sensationalizing it. It's definitely taking suicide as something that can be used for views and entertainment and shock value. It's not portraying it as serious and damaging as it is. This was obviously a last resort for this man. Right now, I can't even begin to imagine how he must have been feeling. I don't even know who he was, what his life was, what he was going through, but I think those are the things we need to think about in this situation, and remember that he was a man. He's not just a dead body in a Logan Paul video. Another thing that kind of made me mad was the response from Logan Paul. So he actually put out this tweet with this, like, apology in it. Says 3 a.m. this morning. I think that's 3 a.m. this time, so I was asleep at this point. But he put out this apology that reads, "Let's start with this. I'm sorry. This is a first for me. I've never faced criticism like this before because I've never made a mistake like this before. I'm surrounded by good people and I believe I make good decisions, but I'm still a human being. I can be wrong." I'm not sure I like how this starts. Like, I never made a mistake like this before. I don't know. I don't like how he worded this. I can kind of see what he's going for, but I just don't like it. And also, hell, you're starting with yourself. You're saying, this is the first for me. Oh, I don't know how to deal with this. Instead of saying, I'm sorry for what I did to this man and his friends and family. Yeah. He goes on and he writes, "I didn't do it for views. I get views. I did it because I thought I could make a positive ripple on the internet, not cause a monsoon of negativity." I think he did do it for views, but I also do think that, yeah, maybe he thought he could make a positive impact on things because, you know, he spends 20 seconds talking about mental health. But no, I do believe that maybe he thought some good could come out of it. He just went about it in completely the wrong way, and he was disrespectful about it, and he was stupid about it, and he trivialized it. And I don't think it was done out of malice. I think it was done out of ignorance and stupidity, to be honest. He says, "That's never the intention. I intended to raise awareness for suicide and suicide prevention. Well, I do this stuff every day. I've made a 15-minute TV show every single day for the past 460 plus days. One may understand that it's easy to get caught up in the moment without fully weighing the possible ramifications." If you're going to use the, like, oh, but I make so much content, how can I be expected to think about blah, blah, blah? Again, you're trivializing suicide. Yeah, you make a lot of YouTube videos, and yeah, you have a big audience, and yeah, I'm sure you do a lot of work, but that doesn't excuse what you did to this man, and it doesn't excuse trivializing his whole life. It doesn't excuse what you did. I don't think it even explains what you did. You can't just say, oh, I'm so busy, I didn't think about it. Because when a human being's life is involved, it deserves more than 10 minutes of thought. I don't know, maybe I'm being too critical, maybe I'm complaining too much. It's just, this is something that kind of really kind of got to me emotionally, and it's something that I was really disgusted by. Don't judge me, I only woke up like an hour ago and saw all of this happening and kind of turned the camera on straight away and decided to make a video because it's something that I think is important to talk about. That said, what I will say is that I don't want this to be just about Logan Paul screwing up. I hope that out of this, more people start to have conversations about mental health. I hope that people who are struggling know that suicide isn't their only option. I hope they know that it's not the best option. I hope that the stigma around mental health issues starts to be broken down. I hope people start to understand that mental health issues like depression and so on can affect anyone, and they are serious, and they're not something you can just think your way out of. I hope that from this more people can start to recognise if and where they have mental health problems of their own. I hope that from this more people know that they can go speak to their GP, they can go see counsellors and therapists, they can be medicated if they need that, they can get help if they need that. I hope that people know that there is help out there. I know I'll include some links below for anyone who is going through a hard time and who might need them, or if you know someone who is, there'll be some links for you down below. I think most of them are going to be UK central because that's where I'm based, but I'll try and include some stuff for my US viewers as well, just in case. Yeah, I do want to end this here and just kind of ask your thoughts. I know, what do you think about what Logan Paul did here? Do you think he handled it in the right way? I don't. Do you think he should have even spoken about this on a video? Do you think he should have shown it? Do you think the shock value of showing how horrific suicide is was a good thing or not? I don't know. What do you think the consequences of this will be? Yeah, I don't know. Just let me know your thoughts. This is not the video I was planning on making today. I have this whole other one planned out, and that just didn't happen. But no, I thought this was important. But I'm going to hand this over to you now and ask your opinion. What do you think? I'm going to end this here. Sorry this was such a serious way to begin the year, but I think it's for the best that we talk about this. And that's all I'm going to say. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And if anyone out there is struggling, I really hope you can get help and find happiness again.